Our next speaker for our Grow segment is Karen the Connector, Karen Fox, and she's going to talk to us about growing through alignment.
Well, we're going to talk about growing through alignment. And as we talk about this, it's how to duplicate your success. Every one of us have had success, but how do we duplicate it? What can we do to make sure that we're duplicating it over and over again? The first thing is you have to build a culture for alignment. If you're not building a culture, what are you building? First thing we're going to talk about is your success story. You have to understand what makes them tick. What makes them uniquely different? Where have they seen success in the past? And what do they enjoy? To know how to effectively work with people, you have to understand every one of those for their success story to duplicate your success story. What is one thing that we probably don't know about you? It's uniquely you. Real quick in the chat, tell us something we don't know, and I'll let Will read those to us. What's one thing we probably don't know about you, and it's unique to you? While you put those in the chat, the reason why we ask these kind of things, what's uniquely you, you typically don't think just because it's unique and it's something different that it relates to you in business and how you handle things. But everything we experience in life determines how we respond to things today. So what have we got, Will?
Well, Kathy Sexton said she was cross-eyed as a child.
Oh, okay.
That's interesting.
Definitely overcome that.
Thad James says he's adopted and left-handed.
Okay. That affects things.
Richard Terry in the Army was a trained interrogator of prisoners of war.
Wow. Thank you for serving.
Rhonda Gray once worked for the FBI.
Oh, got to be careful now.
Shiva was a spiritual leader for a fellowship in Arizona for many years.
Wow.
Dale Furtwängler, shy is a shy, insecure child.
Never know that today, would you, Mr.
Yeah.
Confident?
Karen Hoffman said, my father came to the U.S. from South America. I am part Arawak Indian. Hopefully I said that correctly.
Awesome.
Les Landis, I'm half Italian and my middle name is Luigi.
Oh, I love it.
Bill Purnett, road manager for Tommy James and the Shondells.
Wow.
I did know that one.
I did not. Okay, anybody else, or we're going to skip on here? Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. Everyone is in sales. Everybody says, are you in sales? Everyone is in sales. There's not an option. If you don't think you're in sales and you are married and you're trying to convince your spouse to do something or buy something, you're in sales. You have to sell that idea or that item before you move forward. So everyone is in sales. So we're going to talk about sales personalities. You know, there's a lot of different personalities in sales, and there's no right, there's no wrong, there's no better, no worse. So there's no judgment here. Please don't misunderstand that as we go through this, but it's the different types of personalities. So be thinking about as we go through which one is you. First of all, how we sell is how we do life, just like I was talking about. Sales are contingent upon the attitude of the salesman, not the attitude of the prospect. W. Clement Stone was the author of that. The first one we're going to talk about is the bold salesperson, the personality that's bold. They're assertive. They're outgoing. They're a driver. But they're very comfortable asking questions. And they don't care how long it takes to get the answer they want. So are you a bold? Be thinking about it. And you might be a crossover between two. Are you a chameleon? Flexible. They mirror. They're very careful to mirror. It's what we're taught in sales and marketing. They keep the pace. and they're very comfortable, but they can adapt to any situation. If you're a fast talker, they're going to be a fast talker. If you're slow and relaxed and definitely pointed to exactly the facts, they're going to mirror you and they're going to keep the pace with you. Are you competitive? They're motivated. They love a challenge. They're aggressive. And they're usually an overachiever. Are any of you seeing yourself in any of these? Okay, and the last one we're going to talk about is the relationship builder. They're usually the friendly one. They love people. They're probably having a very hard time during COVID. They're very social, so it's definitely making a difficult time. And they're focused directly on the client. It's all about the client. So now here's the 4 of them. In the chat, tell me which one is you.
All right. Thad James says relationship builder.
Okay.
Oh, so does Karen. So does Shiva. So does Rhonda. So does Dale. Everybody's picking the same one. That's funny.
Okay. Guaranteed they're probably a mix.
Zach says chameleon.
Okay.
Mark Breimer, Dave Austin both say relationship builder. Les Landis, combination of chameleon and relationship builder. Kara says bold competitive.
Okay.
Thad James says and a little chameleon.
Okay.
And Kathy Sexton also says chameleon.
Very good. And like I said, there's no right or wrong. It's just how you approach it. And the thing is, you have to be very careful, though. If you're bold and you're very assertive, you have to make sure that the people that you're working with accept that. You're not going to be the person that can connect with them if that's not the same type of personality. Okay. Never build a sales team of you. How many of you have hired people in the past because they were so like you and you so enjoyed talking to them and you so enjoyed working with them? I have. The first person I ever hired, I was so excited because, oh my gosh, Kim was just amazing and we just had such a good time. However, she liked to talk and so did I. So we didn't get near as much accomplished because of that. Define your leaders and make sure they have the same values you do. If they're not in alignment with the values that you have and how you care for people and how you take care of those clients, they're not the right person to work with you, and they are definitely not one of your leaders. And you have to be careful when you have leaders because people are leaders that you don't put in charge. So have you chose the right leader to lead in your organization? Remember, not everyone ticks like you do. And I think that's a difficult part for many of us because we're like, well, why can't they just get it? Or why can't they just do it this way? Or why didn't they just listen? Well, they don't tick like you and I do. Everybody has their own thing. And as someone I've learned from, and one of my mentors says all the time, we work with the tools we've been given. That means through life, not just in sales, but through life. So working with those tools may be different tools they've been given than you have. Now, when it comes to support, what kind of support are you giving them? Are you approachable? Are you willing to train? You know, how many times, especially if you see it in fast food, you'll say, don't they just know how to do that? I mean, I'm the one that orders tea all the time, and as soon as I get it, the ice is gone because they've not been trained to put a lot of ice in when it's hot tea. And so sometimes we'll say, don't they just know? No, every position has to be trained for, and you have to be willing to train. If you're going to duplicate your success, you've got to make sure you're willing to train them. You've got to play fair. Don't pick favorites. And you've got to set boundaries, because when you set boundaries, you're teaching them to set boundaries. Now, when it comes to the structure, What does the company expect? And this feeds right into the KPIs Karen was talking about. And I thought, oh, this is just perfect. Because who does what? Who's going to do what in the situation in your company's expectations? Who, as soon as they know who's supposed to do it, they'll pick up and do it. For you, what do you, if you're the solopreneur, what are you going to do and what are you not going to do? It's back to the structure. It doesn't really matter whether it's a corporation or if it's you individually. When does this get done? Ask Kathy. It's got to be on your calendar or it's not going to happen. How and when do you follow up? You know, I talk a lot of times about the marketing, and, you know, you can't follow up 2 weeks later and it have the same effect. You know, you have 72 hours to follow up anytime or you've lost all motivation. So you've got to make sure that you've got that planned out. It's on the calendar. How and when are you going to follow up? And what amount of time is spent on what? What are you going to do and when? And again, my day just goes so different when I do as Kathy trained me to do, and put it all on my calendar and plan out the day and know the times and know what I'm going to do when. That makes me be able to duplicate my success, and that's how I can train others to duplicate the same success. Then there's systems. Create written procedures and policies. So maybe you have a new salesperson. You don't have to repeat this every time if you've got it written. Automate the small stuff. There's no one better to teach us how to automate than Will Hankey, the guru of it. And if there's a bonus, affiliate, or a comp plan involved, help them map out a way to obtain the results they want. There's nothing worse than saying, oh, well, if you would have done this, you could have got that bonus after the fact. That's how you make upset people become angry. Okay. And have we got any questions?
Dave Austin says it's impossible to overemphasize the importance of shared values for leaders and throughout the company.
True, very true. And like we were talking about earlier, you know, when I asked what's uniquely you, all of the things that we've experienced through life make us the person we are today. But if you're trying to put someone in a role, and I've talked about it before at E4E, if you're trying to put them in a role that they're not comfortable in or not want to be a part of, you know, you're putting, you know, this bad situation together. So you've got to know what's uniquely them and what you need from them and your own strengths and weaknesses. If you don't know your own strengths and weaknesses, you're going to keep trying to learn more and do more, but you're not building on what your strengths are. And so again, that's not duplicatable. Any other questions?
Nothing coming in. Oh, here we go. Richard asked, how far ahead do you plan on your calendar that are not repeatable actions?
On mine, I do a week. Kathy may give another suggestion there. I don't know.
Thad James says personality styles are more important than skills. Skills can be taught. Personality conflicts are difficult to be fixed.
Very true. Very true.
Karen, I just want to make sure that I understand the distinction here, but what I was hearing is that you're saying there needs to be an alignment of values, but you prefer to have differing styles within those values just so that there's a balance or a,
Correct.
you know, you avoid everybody encouraging each other in the wrong direction kind of thing.
Right, right. Are them gathering and all want to do the same thing? You know, you've got to have the different personalities so that you do have something to bounce off of. That's what makes E4E so extremely valuable, is all the diverse personalities we have here, yet we all come together for one purpose, and that's to help each other in business.
Well, do the contrasting styles, the different styles, indicate that certain markets are better for those styles than others?
I don't know that it means that there's always better styles. I can't say that there's not, but I think taking those personality styles and knowing what they enjoy and how they can work together makes everything as a team. If you're trying to duplicate your success, your success is great and you've got it here, but you can't keep always doing the exact same thing, or you're not going to get farther. It's not going to expand. It's not going to grow. And so having those different personalities allows you to have that camaraderie and that mastermind style.
Can I make a comment on that, Karen, just to add to what you're saying?
Sure.
Dale, what I found, because I do a lot of assessments and behavioral assessments and emotional intelligence and so on. And what I found is it's not, the style isn't as much an industry thing as it is a function thing. So when people hire folks, they tend to hire people that are like themselves, which is not necessarily the right thing. Karen, you were saying that in your presentation, that people hire people they like, and often that's not the person that will be best for that role. So what the assessments do is allows people to have their gut instinct, but also have a little science. So you mix the two. I would never hire only based on an assessment, nor would I hire only on gut. But what you find out in those assessments is, what does that role need? And does this person align with that or not? And in some cases, they might align with it for the most part, and you can train them certain skills. But to the point Thad made, the personality, what is it? A lot of people hire for skill and fire for fit, when you should be hiring for fit, because you can teach the skills.
Right. Thank you, Mary. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay, well, thank you, and we'll turn it back to Mary.